I know. See, so Jagdish, did you create the container image?
Hello, sir.
Remember last time we gone through the tutorial. Jagdish, can you speak up, please?
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes. So Jagdish, so tell me, did you do that exercise? You remember Katakoda creating a container image?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you did that?
Yes, sir. Katakoda, actually, a
What about
container,
Shivkumar?
I went through it.
Hello, sir.
Okay, so Thirumal, so see, if you are, I don't know, if you don't understand it, right, then you cannot move forward. Got it? This is pretty technical stuff. Okay, so okay, let me share my screen. We'll move forward. Dude, can you give me the visiting sharing rights, Raj? Raj?
Yeah, Rama.
Yeah, can you give me rights to share the screen, or
Oh.
you already gave?
Let me cross check. Yeah, can you try now?
Okay. Okay, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. See, keep your microphone open, and we are going to do this. So here I am, Katakoda. So Tirumala, so you better get this going, okay?
Okay.
Creating a container.
Okay.
That's this one. You come here, and then if you come here, right? What's a container image? Okay.
Okay.
Tirumala, you do that exercise maybe twice or thrice. And this one also, what's a container too? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, learn doc, deploying your first Docker container. Okay. So what I will do is I'm going to walk you through with this, and then I'm going to pick one of you to run it. Okay. Between Jagdish and Shiv, right? Shiv, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So between both of you, you'll be walking. You want to give a demo of that. Okay. So I'm going to start. It's deploying your first Docker container. Now, last time we saw that a container image is just a tar file with some properties, right? Now that's where we're going to take off. Okay. Deploy your first Docker container. Now, even though we are talking about Docker container here, but it's pretty much the same whether whatever container you have. Okay. Okay, so in this first scenario, we take the role of Jane, a developer who needs to deploy a new key value store for an application she's working with. After discussion, it's been decided to use Redis, a popular KV store. Jane is unfamiliar with how Redis is deployed, but has heard Docker make it straightforward to deploy services into development and production. This scenario discusses how she'll complete her task and deploy Redis as a container, Docker container. Okay. Now we started this Docker container before. So some of this we did it before. Okay. Your first task is to identify the name of the Docker image which is configured to run Redis. Okay. Now here, if you do type Docker images, see some of this is a repetition, but I think I'm not quite sure how much you understood it. So I'm going to briefly go through this. When I type Docker images, it shows me what are the Docker images that are currently available. Docker PS. What does Docker PS do? Guys, come on. This we talked about this command 3 weeks back. So Shiva, tell me, what is the Docker PS? What is it going to do?
So Docker PS is current running processors. It's showing.
Okay, so what about you, Jagdish? Sorry. Jagdish, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir. Hello.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes, sir.
So what does
Docker
it,
PS.
Docker PS, what does it do?
The processor showing process.
Okay, it will show you the list of Docker, sorry, it will show the list of containers running. So there's
Yes.
no containers running, right? So it said, okay, there's nothing. Okay. Now what does this command do? Docker search Redis. What does it do? Obviously, it's going to search for Redis, but where is it going to search for?
In container, sir.
No, where is it going to search? When you do a Google search, where is it going to search?
Search box.
No,
From-
on Google, if you type Google's, I mean, go to Google and then say search, where is Paradise Biryani? So where is it going to search?
Search box.
Huh? Search box? No, where is it going to search? I mean, where is it going to pick it up from? Okay, Tirumala, tell me. When you search, ask Google for a question, right? Where is it going to search? Hello, guys. This needs to be, what is it? So in a textbook, right? If you want to search for something, how do you search?
Index.
Huh?
Index, sir.
Yes, you go to index, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
Google has indexed content, all the web content everywhere in the world, and put it in a Google index.
Oh,
So it will go to the Google index, and then it will get the reference ID, and then that's what it's going to give you, right? In a simplistic terms. Although it's a lot more complicated than that, but I'm going to simplify it for you. It's index. Now here, when you're doing Docker search, where does it go? Tirumala, come on. It's not like this is new. We discussed this at least a couple of times before. So you heard about the Docker registry, right?
Yes, sir.
yes.
So what is the registry for? What does it do? So in the registry, we store all the container images.
Yes.
Okay. Got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
So it's going to do a Docker search Redis, and it's going to search in a couple of places. It may actually search locally if you have defined local registry, or if you don't mention it, you'll just go and search it on Docker registry. So okay, it searched for Docker registry, and then it found a bunch of Redis. Okay. So use the search command. Jane has identified the Redis Docker image is called Redis and wants to run the latest release. Because Redis is a database, Jane wants to render the background service while she continues to work. Okay. To complete this step, launch a container in the background running an instance of Redis based on the official image. Okay. So when you do Docker, okay, by default, Docker will run a command in the foreground. To run in the background, the option D needs to be specified. So on a Linux box, how do you run a what is foreground background? So on a Linux machine, how do you run a command in the background? So any command you type, okay, ps minus, okay, this foreground, okay, what does it mean? It runs and then comes back to you. Okay, now if you have some script that is running, right, okay, you run that the script or command, you run, let's say ps minus fe, and then press an end symbol. When you do that, it will run in the background. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's Linux. So in here in Docker command, equivalent command is docker run minus D. Okay, to run in the background, the option minus D must specify it. So what I'm doing is docker run Redis. So when you say Redis, right, which one is it going to pick up? There are so many Redis.
Redis
It's going to pick up this
containers.
guy. It's going to pick up this guy. Okay, and that's the latest too. So let's run. By default, Docker will run the latest version available. If a particular version is required, it would be specified as a tag. For example, version 3.2 would be a docker run minus D Redis 3.2. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, now why is it taking so much time to run? And I think it may be downloading the Docker image. Okay, now how do I know if the container is running or not? How do I check? Guys, I don't know whether you're focusing. I discussed this just 10 minutes back. I mean, see, are you guys doing this homework or no? Shiva, tell me, how do you find out? So, yeah. So, okay, now you just give a command. How do you know it is running or not? Guys, why is that?
PS FE.
What PS? PS minus FE? You're in the containerized world, so its command is docker PS. See, guys, very simple, right? Docker PS, Docker images, they are the things that you should embed in your head. I mean, is it that hard? Docker PS, you will be typing it at least 1,000 times during this class. Got it? So even if you don't want to use it, just keep typing it so that you remember. Docker PS will actually return a list of all the containers that are running. Okay. Now we just ran it. So we ran it like 5 minutes back here. It said there's nothing running. Now you see there's one entry here. Okay. And it says image Redis. This is the one that we just ran now. Okay. Now this is container ID. See, this we actually did this talked about this like 2 weeks back, 2-3 weeks back. Okay. So the launched container, what happened here? Okay. The launched container is running the background. The Docker PS command lists all running containers. The image is used to start the container image and uptime. Okay. the command docker inspect. What does the docker inspect do? See, if you don't know the list of Docker commands, you give Docker help, and then it will kind of give you list all the commands that are out there, right? Right, guys?
Yes.
What should I type here?
Inspect Redis.
Okay,
Container name, sir.
what's the container name? Redis is the name of the image.
Okay, name of the image.
Okay. So what's the name of the, what does Docker PS gives? You look at what Docker PS does. You can give this container ID. Let's do that. Docker inspect. So you can give the container ID or the name flamboyant. Okay. But actually we didn't, when we started that, we didn't give any explicit name. Okay. We'll try that next time around. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this here. Okay. So what is this? This is a container ID. So what does it do? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is clear, and okay, I'm running this command again, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe it to more so that I can get only one page at a time instead of scrolling up and down. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now this is the ID. If you recall, this is the number that was put when you actually ran the Docker container. Okay. Now this Docker entry point, Redis server status is running, and PID is 526. Hey, there's echo happening. Okay. So the list of all the information. Okay. Now remember we talked about that every container has got an IP address, right?
Yes, sir.
What's the IP
Yes,
address?
sir.
IP address is this. Got it?
Yes,
Now
sir.
what I'm going to do is, if you want to get the IP address without going through the full pages, right? How do we get it? Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pipe the output of the command. See, whatever I'm typing, you go once you're done, you go through this and then redo it again. Because see, guys, what is really troubling is that I have to repeat this again and again. Okay. Docker inspect, and what is this symbol that I put here? There's a pipe command, and then I'm piping it to grep minus I, which means I don't care about cases, IP add ress. Okay. What does it give me? It just gives me wherever IP address is there in this command, it'll print out. Okay. So instead of running this full command and going through all the information that is printed out, I'm going to just type this and then get the IP address. Okay. Similarly, in your debugging, right? You can do search for whatever you want, network or bridge network or whatever. Okay. Okay. Jane is happy that Redis is running, but is surprised that she can't access it. The reason is that container is sandboxed. If a service needs to be accessible by process not running in a container, then the port needs to be exposed via the host. You understand what is she saying? She needs to access it. Okay. Jane knows that by default Redis runs on port 6379. So where do you find the 6379? It is somewhere there. Okay. So let's search if there is somewhere grepher. What happened? 6379. Okay. Somewhere this 60 number is listed somewhere there. So that means that's a port number. So after reading the documentation, Jane discovers that ports are bound when containers are started using -p. Jane also discovers that it's useful to define a name when starting the container. This means that she doesn't have to use bash piping or keep up looking up the name when trying to access the logs. Okay. Jane finds the best way to solve her problem of running Redis in the background with a name is using the following. Okay. Now, what she's doing is she's running run -d minus name Redis host port -p latest. Okay. This is the port number. So, okay, what she's saying is I'm running a Docker container by name Redis host port -p, binding it to this port, and then the latest image. Okay, so let's run this. Docker ps. Again, what do you do? Docker ps. So there are two of them running now. Got it? So this one is the one that we started with -run -d, and then we didn't give the name option Redis, right? This one is, and then this is another one. By default, the port on the host is mapped to 0000, which means all IP addresses. You can specify a particular IP address when you define the port. Okay, for example, this. Okay, we don't have to worry about it. We come back to that later. Okay, accessing Redis. Okay. The problem with running process on a fixed port is that you can only run one instance. Jane would prefer to run multiple Redis instances and configure the application depending on which port Redis is running. You guys are understanding? This is just an explanation. After experimenting, Jane discovers that just using option -p enables her to expose Redis, but on a randomly available port. She decides to test her theory using, she's running another container. Okay. While this works, she now doesn't know which port has been assigned. Thankfully, she is discovered via Docker port 6079. Yes. Okay. So there's a port that she bound up. Okay. So let's run this. Okay. Jane also finds that listing the containers displays the port mapping information. Yeah, that's sure it does. So where the port mapping information? It's here. Okay. So we are running 3 containers. Okay. The first one is bound to 327. Yeah. 6379. And then this is 6379, 6379. Yeah. And then this is 67. Now remember, all these are containers. They have their own IP addresses. Okay. Got it so far? We are running 3 containers. All of them are running Docker. All 3 of them running Redis database. So remember, we did Docker inspect. Let's inspect this container ID, right? Okay. Now, okay, let's do that Docker PS again. So what I want to do is Docker inspect and pipe it to grep for -i IP address. Okay. So what did we get? So the first one is running on 170.18.04. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is inspect the same thing on this one. Okay. Control C, Control V. Okay. Now let's do this one. You remember what I'm doing here, guys? Are you following?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
trying to get the IP addresses of all the 3 containers. Got it? Control C, Control V. Okay. So there are 3 containers, and remember each container has got its own IP address. That's why you can bind it to the same port number. Otherwise, if they're running on the same container, what happens? There will be a port clash, right? Are you following, guys, what I'm doing here?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so I'm running 3 containers, and then you can see that each container is running on running database, and it is
Right.
different container. The way you know that is because you can have different, you can see the different IP address. So this is IP address of one container. See, the only thing that changes is
0.4,
4,
0.3.
3, and 2. Okay. Now, okay. After working with containers for a few days, Jane realizes the data stored keeps being removed when she deletes and recreates a container. So what happens when you delete? So this is a database, right? What does the database really do? It will store something. Now, if the container is storing something and is dying and then coming back, then what purpose is served by storing any data? Because it doesn't remember anything, right? So Jane needs the data to be persisted and reused when she recreates a container. Containers are designed to be stateless. What is the meaning of containers are designed to be stateless? It's very important. So in a easy way, stateful. So stateless actually means you don't remember anything. Okay. For example, you go and let's say you're booking a railway ticket. I mean, the old traditional way, right? So you go to the reservation counter, and then you give him a slip. Okay. And then for one minute, you guys are talking. Okay. So as long as you're with him, you're talking, he'll remember you, and then he'll remember where you're booking ticket to. So he'll say, Hyderabad to Vizag or whatever, and you book the ticket, comes back. Okay. And you take the ticket and leave. After that, he forgets you, right? You're done. And then the next customer comes. He will do. Okay. So Hyderabad to Kakinada, he'll book and forget. And then after that. So that is a typical example of statelessness. Okay. Now you go back to that same guy again after 3 days. I want to cancel my ticket. And then what would he say? If you don't give him the ticket, right, he will say, no, wait, I don't know who you are first. And I don't know what you're talking about. But the ticket has information. So if you give him the ticket, right, then he'll be able to pull the ticket from the computer system, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now, in our case, stateless means what? So very good example of statelessness is the what do you call the if these days if you buy a ticket without reservation, how do you, let's say, okay, in Hyderabad, right, there is MMTS, right?
Yes, sir.
MMTS. So you go to MMTS, buy a ticket from Lingampalli to Secunderabad. Okay, so one ticket is sold, but other than that, no information is stored. That is actually a stateless situation. Okay. So if you take the ticket back to that some guy, he cannot recognize you. Even that information. There's no stateful information stored on the ticket.
Yes, sir.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
in the old before the computation, right? They used to give out like some thick cardboard type tickets. That the ticket nobody remembers, and then you buy it, and then when you're done with your journey, you hand it over to the guy who checks it. That's it. Because based on the ticket, he cannot trace you, or there's nothing he remembers. Right? That is stateless. That is a good example of statelessness. It means no transaction, nothing is remembered. Okay. Statefulness is something is remembered. Like for example, if you reserve a ticket and you take the ticket PNR number, then he'll be able to pull out all the details, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any questions? Any questions, guys? Okay. So containers are originally designed to be stateless. Okay. So early on, it's like, same thing. Okay. Actually, movie ticket is a good example of statelessness. Right? Nothing is remembered. You buy movie ticket, and then the traditional way, go and stand at the counter and buy tickets and then go and get transfer rules. So nothing is tracked. Okay. So for example, if you take a movie ticket and show to your parents or to somebody, right, I went to a movie, that's not exactly proof, right? But if you train ticket, the computerized one, which has got your name on it and all the stuff, that's actually more than reasonable proof. That's called statefulness. Okay. Containers are designed to be stateless. Binding directories, also known as volumes, is done using the option -v. When a directory is mounted, the files which exist in the directory on the host can be accessed by the container, and any data chain returned to the directory inside the container will be stored on the host. This allows you to upgrade or change containers without using your data. So what it says is, if you do the -v option, what it happens is that, hey, whatever information happening between us, you store it in this directory. Okay, so here in this case, now let's run another container. So here what I'm running, docker run -d --name -v. What is this -v? It means volume. Volume means what? Disk. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you can assign a directory /opt/docker data redis. Okay. When I run this, what happens is it will actually bind a directory to the container. This is the container. So what it means is that -v option is -opt/docker/data /redis is a path on the host, and /data is a reference for the Docker. So Docker, the container, if it wants to write data, is going to write to /data, which will be visible on /opt/docker/data on the host machine. Now, we will actually look into it later on in detail. For now, but just remember this. Okay. Running a container in the foreground. So that is about Docker container and the persistence. Okay. So we have seen that a Docker container has got a IP address, and okay, what's the history command does? What does history tell you? Guys, what does history tell you? History, it will always tell you the list of all the commands you ran. Linux is so nice. See, if you type something and if you forget, right? Then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the chat session here, and you copy it right now and then store it somewhere. Okay. And you make sure you run all these commands. because some of these are not, I've not put it here for you. Okay. Okay, how does this guy die? I don't know. I can close it and open it again. Okay, got it, guys. Okay, this is simple stuff. You don't have to bother. We'll do another exercise now. Okay, do you understand? What does the history command do?
It shows the previous.
Yeah, say command history. That means since when? Since your last login, that can be changed. Since the last time you logged in, it will tell you all the history.
Yes.
Okay. See, Linux is such a wonderful operating system. Okay. And you, in fact, you will think, I know what is the equivalent in Windows. Windows may have something history, right? Rashekar may know if Windows has got something called history.
I don't remember the Windows command. It's been a while I used it.
Okay, so guys, so get used to Linux. It's so wonderful. Okay, so we are done with this. So what we'll do now? What is the next scenario? Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll actually build. Did we do this building container image? So I want you guys, yeah, we'll do this. Leave. Okay. So now we'll do this building container images. Okay. Now, what I would want is Mr. Who do I pick up? Shiva.
Yes, sir.
You're going to share my screen, your screen, and then I'm going to walk you through. I think every time now I'm going, okay, and open that URL that I put it on the note. Because what I'm going to do is I will take turns, and the next Thirumal, next Jagdish, because otherwise you guys are just listening to whatever I'm saying. I want you guys to do it, and then I'll walk you through. Okay, now share your screen, and once you share, you open that URL that I sent you. You first share your screen, please. So we know what you're doing. So do you like this interactive session, or you just want to sit and listen to what I say?
Sir, is visible, sir, my screen. Hello, sir.
It's not visible as yet.
Hello, sir.
No, not yet.
No, sir.
No, I don't know if I don't think anybody's. Hey, can you see Shiv Kumar has started screen sharing? That's okay. Cool. Okay. Now open the URL that I pasted. And then I pasted something on the chat. Pick up from the chat. And in meeting lo nanu phone chestana. Sorry, bye.
Yes, sir. Is open.
Okay, now, so this one, okay, Jagdish and Thirumal, please closely follow. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
closely follow it. This is going to be a bit challenge. You have to do some coding, because I think without getting your hands dirty, you're not going to learn anything. So this is what we're going to do now is we're going to create our own container image. From
Yes, sir.
no, don't press it. I'll tell you. Scroll up.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Scroll up. Okay. So no. See, go back. You pressed continue. Go back. No. Step 0 is where I want to go. Okay, refresh the browser. That's it. Refresh the browser. Reload, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now be here. So in the first scenario, we discussed how you get started with containers and all that stuff. Okay. Okay, Docker images. Docker images are built using a Docker file. Okay. A Docker file defines all the steps required to create a Docker image with your application configured and ready to be run as a container. The image itself contains everything from operating system to dependencies and configuration. Okay. Now we're going to build a Docker image. Okay. Now click on Start Scenario.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Base image. Okay. Remember your what do you say? Any container starts with a base image. Okay. A base image is the same image from the Docker registry, which are used to start containers. Okay. So we will start with the base image. The base image is not something that you create. Base image is something somebody has configured it for you, or maybe normally what happens is you download it from a registry and then start building on top of it. Okay. So along with the image name, you can also include the image tag to indicate what particular version we want to build by default. Okay. So these base images are used as a foundation for your additional changes to your application. So here what we're going to do is we're going to, in this way we require Nginx to be configured and running on system before. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Creating a Docker file, come down, scroll down. Okay. Okay. Now, okay. Now in this, what he has done is he has created a index.html file. Okay. Now edit that index, click on that index.html. Oh yeah, right. Now you put, there is hello world and then space, you put your name there, your full name. This hello world, right? Next to hello world, keep typing your full name. No, boss. What is there? Okay. Okay. After hello world, just put your name, space. See, this is HTML tag, right? No.
Yes, sir.
You know what HTML tag is? That is a header, which means what? Header will always start with H1. Put whatever. So put hello world Shiva, whatever your name is, type there.
So
Yes, sir.
type my name, sir, here.
Where? Are by after hello world, put your name before H1.
Before H1.
Yes. See, there's some stuff in pink color that you don't change. They are headers. See, this is basic HTML, boss. Nobody will teach you this because everything is HTML these days. So, okay, between hello and world, put your name. I think that's easy.
Type my name, sir.
Put your full name.
Full name.
Yes. Okay. Now, why I'm telling you is because we're going to see it on the container. Okay. Now, save it. Hopefully, it is saved. Okay. Now, come down into that green terminal window. Yeah. Type cat index.html space index.html.
Can I enter?
Yeah. I just want to make sure. So it's there, right? Do an ls minus l. Okay. Okay. So you have this index. Okay. The first line. Okay. Creating a Docker file, right? Go up. That scroll bar. You take it up. You know, the scroll bar on the left side. Take it up.
Where, sir?
No. Okay. So there are 3 panes, right? So this whole window has got actually technically 4 panes. One is builder container image, 1 pane, and the left side has got 3 panes in one. Got
Okay,
it?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now go up under the leftmost pane, scroll up. Boss, Do you know how many panes this whole screen has?
4.
Okay. So I'm talking about the leftmost one. Just scroll up.
Scroll up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All the way up.
Okay.
Okay. No, again scrolling coming down. I said scroll up. Okay. Okay. Now, these base images are used as a foundation for additional changes to run your application. For example, in this scenario, we require Nginx to be configured and running on system. Okay. Docker's file are simple text files with a command on each line. To define a base image, we use the instruction from image name tag. Okay. Okay. Now create a Docker file. Now, how do you create a Docker file? Do you know VI? So what
VI
editor
is
do you know VI?
VI.
Okay. Okay. Do touch.
Yes, sir.
Type the
To
command
create
touch.
a new
UIUCH.
files.
What? Touch
Create a new
space.
file.
Yeah, touch space. Docker file.
Yes,
D
sir.
capital. Docker file. Just the way it is there. Yes. File. Return. Return.
Enter, sir. Enter, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now the top it showed Docker file, right? Click on that. Okay. Now this is your editor pane. Okay. Now here you have to type something. Okay. Now everything in the way you build a container is you using something called the Docker file. Okay. Now come to the leftmost pane and scroll down to the bottom. Okay. Now you have to type something there. What to type? Click on show solution. Leftmost there's a button, show solution.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. From Nginx 1.11 Alpine, copy to editor. It says copy to editor. Yes. Okay. Put it there, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, what does it say? It says from what it says is that Nginx is a base image. So you're copying, you're getting from Nginx Alpine. Okay. Next, continue. Click on the continue button. Yes. Okay. Now you're coming to the second one. Okay. So with the base image defined, you need to run various commands to configure our image. There are many commands to help with this. The main commands are two. One is copy and run. Run command allows you to execute any command as you would at a command prompt. Okay. And copy command does from source to destination. So you scroll down all the way. Okay. Come all the way. Again, show solution.
Copy editor, sir. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now what did you do exactly? No. Okay. After copy, yeah, that is fine. Copy. So what is it doing? So the first step it is doing is Nginx is the base name, and then it's saying copy index.html to /user share Nginx /html. It says copy this file to that location, right? Continue.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Continue. Okay. So with our file copied into our image and any dependencies downloaded, you need to define which port application needs to be accessible on. Okay. Because it has to bind to some port, right? So what you're going to do, you have to expose that port. Again, show solution. Yeah, copy to editor, export 80, expose 80. Why 80? Tell me what is why 80? Not 280.
Expose 80.
What does expose 80 mean? Who anybody can answer, guys? Come on. So HTTP, what's the default port for HTTP? Guys, come on, man. This is basics. What is the default port for HTTP?
80.
Yeah, that's what it is. Default port 80. So when you say google.com, right, it actually means google.com
Yes, sir.
port 80. If it is HTTP, Google. Okay, but Google uses HTTPS, which is like what's the default port for HTTPS?
Default port HTTP.
HTTPS. It's 443. Okay, so what is the default port for TCP? Sorry, TCP or not TCP, SSH. We did this plenty of times 1 month back. What's the default port for SSH? What port you have to open for SSH?
4096, sir.
SSH boss.
SSH.
Where is the 496 number you're picking up from?
255.
What? Tirimal, you tell me.
255.
What?
255.
255.
Yes.
Where do you get that numbers? I mean, how come you guys are picking up these numbers out of thin air, man? I don't get it. When you created a VM, we had trouble logging onto VM. We did this lot of magic with port 22. Guys, so which means you guys have not done that creating a virtual machine and all that stuff. Did you create a virtual machine? And then did you
Yes, sir.
section to that? What is the default port? The default port is 22. In fact, if you go to the firewall rules, we enabled 22 there. And then we again disabled, we enabled 20. We played with it.
Yes.
Okay. So expose 80. Okay. So what we are saying is expose port 80. That's what it means. Okay. Why 80 is because the Nginx by default binds to port 80. Okay. Now go to continue. Okay. Now with the Docker image configured and having defined which ports we want accessible, we now need to define the command that launches the application. That CMD line in a Docker file defines the default command to run when a container is launched. That means once the image is built, when the container is launched, right? What to do now next? Run this command. That's what it means. Okay. Now this command has got a syntax. Okay. Command and arguments. Okay. The command to run Nginx is Nginx -g daemon off. Okay. Now come down, scroll down.
Yes, sir.
And then show solution as usual. Now I'm making it simple, easy for you because you guys are struggling with entering commands and then typing them out.
Command.
Okay, now what does it do? So the command is Nginx, and then you run it with the following parameter. So ultimately underneath it runs Nginx -g daemon off. That's how it runs. Okay. Now continue. After writing a Docker file, you need to use Docker build to turn it into an image. The build command takes a directory containing the Docker file, executes the steps, and stores the image in your local Docker engine. If one fails because of an error, then the build stops. So use the Docker build command to build the image. But before that, before you do that, type Docker images. Yes, on the window, type Docker images.
Docker images, sir.
Yeah, exactly, whatever it is there. Or you can click on that arrow, but I would want you to type it. So it will tell you if there are any images present. Okay, there is Redis, Ubuntu, Alpine, Nginx. Okay, Nginx image is already there, but we build one separate. We are building our own container, right? Okay, now show solution. Okay, now, okay, look at this. Docker build -t my Nginx image latest and dot. There's a dot. Okay, the dot means pick up the Docker. So when Docker build always requires a Docker file, right? Now you have to tell Docker where the Docker file is. Okay, so when you press that, when you put the dot, it means, hey, the Docker file is in the current directory. Pick it up from there. Okay, now press that arrow there and then execute it. Okay, now you can see that it is doing whatever it is doing. Okay, what did it do? Steps. It is doing 4 steps, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Sir.
So, okay, this is your first. This is your first
Base content
image.
images.
So you have now successfully built a Docker image. Okay, now press now do Docker images. Type Docker images. So where is yours?
My Nginx.
My Nginx image.
The first one, right? The topmost, my Nginx image.
Image.
So you can give it to your own name. Okay, you can
Yes.
give your own name, like Shiva's image, whatever. Okay, now
Okay, sir.
click on continue. Now with the image successfully created, you can now launch the container in the same way we described in the first scenario. Okay, launch an launch an instance of your newly built image using either the ID result from the build command or the friendly name you assign to it. What's the friendly name you assign? My Nginx name, right? Okay, now let's do this. Now we run this command. Docker run -d space -d -p 8080. Okay, space. Now you type my Nginx image. No, not that error. See, in commands you now. No. You remove that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Should be straight away. So whenever it says that arrows, right, left arrow, right arrow in between, that means you have to substitute something there. Now, what do you do? What do you give? My dash Nginx dash image. Yeah, why are we giving 8080 twice?
Actually, we are doing port forwarding. Means internal container port should be matched with the outside environment port.
Okay, that is one port is the container port, other port is the host port. Okay, return. Okay, now what's the next step you have to do? You want to know whether it is running or not. How do you find out?
Or Docker PS.
Yes, type Docker PS. Okay, so that is your thing. Okay, now it's running. Now you want to find out whether it is whether you can access the web server, right? So what does the Docker have? What is it hosting? It's hosting an Nginx web server, right? Now run that command curl -I.
Enter, sir.
No. Type the full command. Curl -I http. Can you see the command there? // Docker. Okay, hold on. Don't do anything. What is it going to return? This is a very interesting question. What is it going to return? What should it return? Remember, it should return our index file. What did we put in our index file?
It returns the image downloading content of the server.
Yeah, what is it? See, by default, any web server, right? The default page, what is it? What's the default page? It's always index.html, right? Okay. Anyway, return and see what it does. It returns hello world. How is that it is returning hello world when you actually said go back to the index dot, you should return your name, man. What happened to your name? Do a cat on /index.html. Not slash. The file is there, sitting there, right there. Index.html. Return. Enter. And okay, what happened? You didn't save it?
Yeah.
No, go to the top. Go to the top. No. On the topmost pane where it had Docker file and index.html. Yeah,
Sir, yes, sir.
click on index.html.
Yes, sir.
So it did not save, is it? Because if you type a cat, pwd here, it did not save here. I thought it saved it. What happened? Okay, so it did not save. Okay. Okay, so that's why I prefer to always use VI, because I don't know what's the link between the top, the thing and this thing, why it's not syncing up. So anyway, so this is how you create. Okay, continue. I think you are done here on this tutorial. So you guys have any questions? You understood how to create it? Okay. So Shiv, so I want you to repeat this exercise. And so let's do with Thirumal.
Okay.
Share your screen, please. Share your screen, please.
Okay.
And open the same tutorial that we opened. What's happening with Thirumal?
Sir, sharing.
So open that URL that we just opened. It's there on the chat. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, what did you open? See, I posted that URL to open on the chat. Just pick it up and then open that on your browser. On the Zoom chat.
Wait.
Okay, how do you chat on the Zoom? Go to the chat window. You already joined the meeting, right?
Yes, sir.
Click X on it. I don't know whether this is what this is. Close this thing for good. Click on that X. Don't minimize it. Just click on X and then get rid of it.
Soundboard, I'm not getting, sir.
Okay. Now see something will pop up on your window.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Click on that and open it. Okay, Jagdish, can you also open it? So Tirumala, have you not used Zoom before? Like, what's that? Can you not find out? I'm sending you messages. Are you not getting it? Where is your Zoom? Okay, I'll send it email to you. I think I don't know why is it so hard for you to get it. I think you have to figure out how to improve on this, because this will waste a lot of time.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, I'll tell you, it's katakota.com/courses/docker/2. So courses, after courses, it is docker/2. Did you stop sharing screen again?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Why? What happened? See, Thirumal, you are wasting time here.
No, sir. It's bling. My system is some problems.
Okay, Jagdish, I don't know if your system is problem. I don't know how your learning experience is going to be. Jagdish, can you share your screen, please?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, got it right now.
Yes, sir.
Now you start the scenario. Okay, because you went through this, it doesn't have to be like. Okay. Now open that index.html. Okay. Hello world, right? In between you type your name. Okay. Okay. Now come here. Save it. I don't know how to. Is there a save button here somewhere?
Sir, how to save the file, sir?
See how to save it. See, there's a button option there. Expand, and then no, in between there's one after the three buttons to the left.
Yes.
Where?
Expand all. Left to the left of it, there is something, right? No, that is close. In between,
Click on expand all.
refresh tree. Yeah, refresh tree.
Yes.
Yeah, do that. Okay. I don't know what. It's so hard. Okay. See, these are all tools to make it friendly. That doesn't mean that you have to rely on them. That's why I expect that you would know VI very well. Okay. Come to the bash terminal window. Do a cat on that file, index.html. No. Type cat index.html. Return. Okay. Presumably it's saved. Now do a vi space index.html space index.html. Okay. Now you can see that, right? Now space escape, press escape button. You're already escape. Press that colon button, colon, and then Q.
Where, sir?
Press colon Q. See, here's the thing, guys, all of you. Yeah, colon Q, letter Q, return. See, you have to get comfortable with Linux commands, Linux editor. Now, why I'm doing this is because previously did not save, and it kind of cheated us on that. I don't rely on those kind of tools. That's why my safest bet is use VI. Okay. Now, the first line of the Docker file, you know that, right?
Okay, sir.
So do a touch Docker file. You remember that we got to go to the drill. Touch Docker space Docker file. Okay. Remember what I told you specifically? Docker file, D is always capital. What happens if you put small letter? Will it give an error?
Yes, sir.
No, it won't give an error. You'll just ignore and say it says that I'm not finding the Docker file.
Mhm.
What does it do? What does the touch Docker file space?
No space between Docker file. Yes. Enter.
Done. Yeah. So now it should refresh. Now open and refresh the thing, the top panel. Click on Docker file. Now click on index there. Now index, click on index. Index, first click on index. No, click on index.html first. Click on it. Okay, now go back to Docker file. Okay, now show solution. Copy to editor. Right? Okay, continue. Okay, now we went through all these, right? Now, so scroll to the bottom. Show solution. Copy to editor. Now, what is it doing? When it's building the container, it will take the index.html from this file, from this directory, and then copy into the inside the container. It will put it the right place there. Okay, continue. Okay, show solution. Now, see, I'm simplifying this for you to show solution because otherwise you guys are messing up with typing commands. Okay, copy to editor. See, I want you to do this. I don't care, boss, dozen times till you get it. Okay, now continue. Okay, because life is not that simple. Show solution. Okay, continue. Okay, now you have that Docker file, right? Now do a cat on that. No, hold on. Do a cat on it from here. Yes, do a cat on Docker file. Okay, type DOC and then press tab. It will complete for you. Type no. Type D is capital, right? D capital and tab. No, stop.
No.
Type tab. Tab.
Press tab button.
Why are you using it? It's a file auto completion name. Okay. So see, I want you to use these tools so you speed up your whole process. Okay. Return. Okay. So you know what it is doing, right? Okay. Now, yes. Now, actually do one thing. Go to the top and press return, enter key after command at the top. To the top, yeah. Return, enter key. Yes, that's fine. Now, okay, do Docker images. Yes. Okay. Now you don't have an image. Okay, continue. So you're going to launch a new content, right? Come down. Okay, Docker run. No, did we build? Where is that build command? Go up. Go to the previous step. We did not build the image yet. Go back. Step 6. Step 5 out of 6. Yes. Docker build. Show solution. Yeah. No. Don't do that. Type exactly here without Docker build. -t. Now give your name. Engine dash Tirumala dash Nginx dash image :latest. Okay, return. Just return. Okay, what happened? What happened? So you should tell Docker where the image is, otherwise it will give an error. Okay, so press the up arrow. The command. Okay, now space dot. Now dot means the current directory. Okay, now return. Now see what it is doing. Okay, now how do you know that image has been successfully built? How do you know? I've been keep telling you, the simplest dumb thing to remember is Docker images, Docker PS. That's it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What do you do here? You run Docker PS for what? No, but what does Docker PS do? So what happened then? Where is it? Is it? Huh?
Shows the container.
What?
Docker PS shows the containers, sir.
But what are you looking for? We are looking for images.
Yes.
We are not run the container yet. So what command to use?
Docker images.
Yeah, type. Okay, so you have your image, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now continue. Okay, now come down. So now Docker run. So no. What is, we are continuing? Docker run. Go up, slightly go up. See, you have built an image, right? Next step is what? Next step is come down slowly. Stop. So you have built an image now. Now you have to run that image. Once you run, you can actually access the image and see what it shows. Okay, now run docker run -p, whatever that it shows. $80.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, return and enter mean the same thing. Okay, now so what did you do just now?
Build a Docker image, sir.
No, that is over. But did you, if you're saying building, did you type build docker build? See, don't blindly type whatever it says. Think whatever when you're typing. Think what it is, what you're attempting to do. So you're running a container.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how do you know whether the container is running or not?
Docker PS type.
Okay, type docker ps. Okay. Now your Docker container is running. Okay. Now remember you sent that you typed your name. It should show up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now do that curl-i http docker. No. Curl curl command. Okay, I think there's a bug. Either that copy index.html is not working, or what is happening is that it is somehow defaulting to. Anyway, so that's what it is. It's you're running a web. We can actually log into the container and then see. Okay, now okay. So that completes the our session for today. So we know what did we do? We created a
Docker image.
yes. Okay. Now what we can do is, remember in that copy index.html to /user share nginx html /index.html. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to restart the session, and instead of copy index.html, right, we'll give index1 /html. Okay. Okay. Do one thing now. Curl, right?
Yes, sir.
So type that command again. Curl -i. Up. Use the up arrow. And then now after Docker, you put Docker /index.html. In fact, you'll get the same thing. That's because they're technically the same commands. Return. Now what we'll do is we'll repeat this. There's something wrong with that copy command. It's not doing fully. Okay. Now what we'll do is open your Docker file. Okay, from here, okay, at the top, right? The top, go to the top. That copy index.html right? Duplicate it. Go to the you're already in the Docker file.
Okay.
Now duplicate it. Yeah. Okay. Now what's the first command? Read the command line by line, please, for me.
From Nginx colon
Yeah. Second line.
copy index.
Yeah. Now duplicate that line. Okay. Select the character, select the text, and then Control C, Control V. Next, in the next line, duplicate the line.
Let's see. Control C.
Control C, and then next line you type next line, put return, press return there.
Okay.
Control V.
Okay.
Okay. Now here, what you do is index1.html. Make it index1.html. Okay. Okay. Now save it. So I know Control S, press Control S. Maybe it works. See, I don't know what that funky editor is. I don't trust it. Okay. No. Here, you're not going to save it locally. Cancel. Okay. Now do a cat on this. Bottom. See, cat on docker.cat docker file. Okay. Now remember that build command. You run the build command, right?
Yes.
Go back. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. Give that. Press the arrow right there. Again, do it.
Continue.
No. The command did not run. So run the command again. No. Give that my nginx, because this is a different one.
Hello, sir.
Okay. What happened?
We're sorry, but
I can't read it. Can you read for me?
they are sorry, but we encountered a problem with the connection. Please refresh and try again.
Okay. I think we have spent too much time on that. Okay. So here is the thing. Okay. I wanted to show you that you can create another image and then kill the old container and then launch a new container. Okay. Now, if you do Docker, what do you say? Docker kill. Use the Docker command. How do you, if you type man Docker, right? It'll tell you what are all the functions it has. If you just type Docker, it'll tell you what are the functions you have. Now, I want all of you to do this exercise 3 or 4 times. Got it? Jagdish, Tirumal, and Shiv.
Yes,
Do it
sir.
3 times, and each time you do different things. Now listen to what I showed you. Copy index.html and then make it index1.html. Then when
Okay,
you're
sir.
using the curl command, bring out that index1.html. It should print because there's a bug there when it is doing a copying. Okay. Now tomorrow I'll show you how do you access deep inside the container and get your hands dirty. It's like if you want to poke, see what is happening in the containers. Okay. Any questions,
Okay,
guys?
sir.
So one other thing, right? I want you to get really comfortable with VI. Now I don't know what. Okay, what happened if you type enter? What happens?
Press enter.
I actually click on continue, and what does it say? Thirumal, click on continue and see what it says. Okay, and then click on Docker PS. Yeah, click. No. Docker PS. Yes, click on that. Okay, I think this terminal window is dead because I think we spent too much time there. Okay, so that's it for today. Any questions, please? Hello. So did you guys understand what we have gone through today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, see, you know what? I'm going to give you a quiz next week.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Because if you're not comfortable with Docker, if you're not comfortable with containers, you won't understand Kubernetes.
Oh,
Okay. Any questions, guys? If you don't have anything, we can stop.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I have one question, Rama. What's the difference between CMD and entry point?
No. Can you come again?
What is the difference between CMD and entry point?
PMD, PWD.
No. CMD and entry point in a Docker file.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you can check the documentation.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those should be pretty straightforward.
Yes.
I don't. I can't tell out of the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, difference in those commands and all that. I think you can search and then find out. Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
No, sir. We'll practice this, and if any, I'll ask you next class.
Yeah. So you need to practice this.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
okay, sir. We will practice, sir. Today's session.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, sir.
Rama.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you,
bye.
Rama.
Hey, I have sent the YouTube recording and the chat notes. I mean, whatever the links and comments Rama shared here in the WhatsApp group. So you should have all the notes.
Okay,
Raj,
sir.
also I didn't get the request to join that group. Yes, I'm not in that group.
Akhil, I'm sorry, I didn't get what you
Hey,
just said.
Akhil, your voice is kind of weird.
Just hold on.